It is a lot of competition out there. The entry bar is very less. Fundamentals have to be stronger. The real essence of why they want to get into the field is missing. Whatever I have learned, I've learned on the job.
First and foremost thing that starts is understanding yourself. There's a self-exploration process. Before we arrive at a purpose of what we want to do, who am I, is what we need to understand. People generally tend to go to those jobs which pay them more, and then they realize after a few paychecks come to them, they realize they're not enjoying that.
How does the world know that you have become a brand in yourself?
In today's era, personal brand or brand is not what you want to communicate. If you are unable to tell that story in that first interview, again, someone else will do that and you are left behind.
What are the key elements in building that kind of a brand where you are sought after?
Fresh graduate or anyone coming out of the institute has an option of going through social media or etc. to communicate your brand and what they stand for. Good old days, there was only a CV, and that too was dictated by the institute in terms of this is the format, stick to this. You may be great in technology, but unless you communicate yourself, it cannot be that I'm hardworking, I will learn, I'm a good learner. Those are a given. You don't need to say that. But what is it that differentiates you from others?
How does Vishwakarma in Essential prepare its students to, kind of develop a personal brand?
Traditionally, colleges only taught courses and ensured that assessments were there and gave them a CGPA and sent them out. In the recent past, we have realized that just teaching, and which is there anyway, but only doing that is not going to be enough. But the point is, a student in those 4 years in a college or university needs to do things that will eventually become a brand, which will add to it. The content has to be there.
I would say oversaturated like data science right now. When I say oversaturated, not in terms of talent, in terms of influx of people. In terms of the noise in the industry, everybody today wants to be a data scientist. Nobody even understands what is a data scientist. The parents don't know anything about data science. Data science gives good money, so you become a data scientist.
So there is a lack of talent density at the leadership level itself, and that kind of percolates through the system. So I would say a student should spend 70 to 80% of your learning time in understanding what problems your area will help you solve.
Talking about the problems in the industries and the business impact that they've created would probably differentiate their profiles much better in data science than telling that I know Power BI, Tableau, ClickView.
And imagine someone who has been doing a car vlogging and suddenly talking of restaurants. That doesn't work. And it's quality over quantitative sometimes, but what you communicate should be authentic. Pray and pray strategy doesn't work. Sooner or later, world will start seeing video LinkedIn kind of profiles. Fresher in the industry doesn't mean your avenues are limited.
The job profiles were not matching. Their requirements were different to what you were looking at. They probably have only a few skill sets that they were looking for, and you probably were not fitting into that. But that doesn't mean that you don't fit into the entire ecosystems. Have you studied the JD enough for you to tell that compelling story so that he or she is sitting back and hearing you out in terms of your accomplishments in this 1 year of your internship?
At any given time, there are people reaching out to me and, be like, hey, that's the ideal state for any candidate, right? I have people offering me jobs and I am deciding what I want to do.
If you start with the aim of ensuring that my first application should be my last one.
Branding, I believe, primarily comes when the person has identified his area. Their primary concern is, at least for a large majority, is the CTC.
You are good at something, so that skill set of yours is applicable in many companies.
It's not important to know where you want to go. It's important you should know what you don't want to be. When you come out of the institute, you realize the real world needs a lot more different.
For women who want to be in tech, what are the ways in which they should put themselves out so that they are identified?
Parents who think and see a potential in their children should start nudging them towards it. It does start from school. It does start from home. Women make a huge difference. Guy who is very bullish about something, he wants to make it big, that's considered huge, that's considered something to go after. Whereas a woman who's very bullish about certain things, it's considered in a very different light. If you see a guy sitting at home and taking care of home and taking care of kids, the first thing you ask is why. And if you see a woman who is kind of traveling, doing all of these things, growing up in the career, is how much more time are you going to do this?
My take is absolutely opposite of that.
When you voice out as a woman, you saying that statement doesn't seem to be right as a victim, right? You're playing a victim card. People get referred as, hey, you are a diversity head. There are people who have told me, hey, you are a diversity head. Come on.
Yeah.
That's an insult to me. Diversity quota should get awareness.
This diversity is a new form of reservation that drove Indians out of India, is the reason why bulk of the brain drain happened, and now this diversity hiring, I see it as a new form of reservation.
Having a guideline on a diversity is fine, but using that to say A over B, no, that is something I wouldn't recommend.
The male has to be equally groomed while he is growing to ensure that he is getting married to in the future to a person who's going to be working.
In fact, a lot of companies today, or at least in my teams that I have seen, you forget the fact that there is a female.
Parents and everyone knows it's a AC, air-conditioned environment where my daughter is working versus going on the street, managing projects, etc. There's a conscious choice made at the college level itself.
And in mechanical engineering, the number of girl students come is always less.
Less.
More
Had
at
the
family and
mother-in-law or
society.
the mother ensured that I will take care of the children, daughter-in-law please go, or the daughter please go pursue your career, this problem would not have been so much.
What differentiates a newcomer to the industry versus experience is the experience itself.